Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Douglas, Senior Charitable Giving Advisor at the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. And today we have a special edition and a special guest, my colleague, Michael Vittori. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks.
So you might remember that Michael joined our team earlier this year, and his core focus is working with professional advisors as well and their clients. So he has many fund holder relationships that you support, and likely through the year you've seen his name pop up, and we're both working to serve you in this audience and ultimately your clients. So today we're going to be doing a special edition of kind of a fast fire round with the theme of year end. So what are those frequently asked questions that we get? Our phones and emails have been extremely busy, as you can imagine, this time of year, and we wanted to spend time together really just talking about what are the questions that we're hearing. And I'll give you the first one, which is the most common question this time of year really is something along the lines of, is it too late to open up a fund? So
Yeah, and we're hearing that a lot, right? But the answer is no. No, it's definitely not too late. Especially, as long as we get everything finished by December 31st and the funds in the account, we're good to go. We're getting it a lot, but it's really fast to set up accounts. We just need the agreement signed and filled out to the best of the fund holder's ability, and then we run it through our processes, and we can get the fund open just in time.
yeah. It's, I think a lot of people think that there's a big delay in getting these things set up. At the end of the day, it's filling out a few pieces of information, getting that donor signature, and then at the end of the day, it's when that money comes in that generates that tax receipt. So the caveat to the answer is it depends on the asset coming in. Most of the time it's check, maybe some appreciated securities, which can happen very quick. Something more complex, hopefully we can have a little bit more lead time. So yeah, that's usually one of the most common questions we're hearing.
Yeah. Another question we've been getting a lot is surrounding the Endow Iowa State tax credit. Just how many credits are left for this year? There's still credits available, and maybe you could speak a little bit about the changes coming in 2026. We're getting that a lot.
Yeah. So Endow Iowa, again, pretty unique to working through a community foundation rather than a national provider. So we do hear this question a lot. And for 2025, there are still approximately $1.9 million worth of credits remaining out of the $6 million allocation. Reminder for the audience that that is not just Des Moines allocation, that is statewide. So those can dwindle faster than what's just happening here in town. And then you mentioned the upcoming changes. So you've seen from previous communications that this summer there was new legislative signed making changes to what's we're pretty used to here with Endow Iowa, being that historically we've been allocated $6 million worth of credits each year. Next year, starting January 1st, that changes to $3.5 million worth of credits. So fewer credits available. And then the other change that they made that really does affect year-end planning is the maximum allowance per taxpayer. So right now, each taxpayer can receive up to $100,000 worth of credits. So at a 25% state tax credit, that's a $400,000 gift to receive that $100,000 worth of credits per taxpayer. Next year, that's halved. So $50,000 maximum. So if you do have clients that have an Endow Iowa fund and want to pump that up before year end, knowing that that changes, this is a really good time to do that. So we're really encouraging a lot of advisors to think through that planning as well. All right, I'm gonna shoot one back at you here. Some advisors calling, asking about year-end deadlines. So maybe without going through the whole list, because we'll include a list in our communication, but what are some of the highlights that really you can think of?
Yeah, kind of the two big ones that are coming in is when is the deadline to grant? And so we just need those grants to be sent out and directed by Monday, December 29th at noon. So as long as those come in by then, we'll make sure they get to the causes and charities that our fund holders care most about. The second big item is postmarking contributions for the funds. So, we spoke a little bit earlier about how quickly we can get those funds set up. And as long as, to get the 2025 tax receipt, as long as we can get those funds postmarked by December 31st, or if they're coming in via ACH or stock transfer, as long as those are sent in by December 31st, we're good to go on the 2025 receipt.
Yep, and we'll have a full list of those year-end deadlines. Obviously, stock can take a little bit more time, so make sure you have some lead time. Checks, again, he mentions postmarked, which is important. There's special rules from the IRS on when checks can and can't count as gifts in that calendar year. So be thinking about those deadlines and supporting your clients. Have you had any interesting calls with advisors or clients? What might stick out in your head as
Yeah, kind of a fun one I had about a week ago was with a fund holder who's asked about giving a donor advised fund to her children for Christmas gifts, and I thought that was such a neat idea and neat way to get their kids involved in giving. And you know, it's a lot of fun because right, you don't have to. You can still keep the surprise. You don't have to have the child sign on the initial agreement. And it's all amendable, so we can change things as the child chooses. But I thought, what a fun and creative idea, creative way rather, to get the kids involved in giving.
Yeah.
Any other advice or final thoughts you could think for professional advisors or donors as we get ready to wrap up this year?
Yeah, I think final thoughts wise, first of all, again, we kind of have the tagline of use us as a resource. Pick up the phone, send us a message. If you have questions around charitable giving at this time of year, our calendars are blocked just to be of service to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And then secondly is just a big thank you, right? We're at the year end already, and we're so thankful to the professional advisor community and the relationship we have with you and how much support you give to your clients on the topic of philanthropy. This community is so generous, nationally recognized for its charitable giving. So a huge thank you to the efforts to really make that happen and planning with your clients. So cheers to a great holiday season to all of you, and we look forward to seeing you in another year.